This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Bas-Jan Faber, the CEO of C-Job Naval Architects, to discuss modern dredger design. Bas-Jan, to start, compared to the last time we met and interviewed in person, it was in Amsterdam in September of 2019, and the world indeed was a very different place. The main focus of the interview today is on the dredger market. But to start, can you discuss how COVID-19 has materially impacted your business and share your outlook for the coming 12 to 24 months?
Yes, I can do that. And I can remember that summer of 2019, and then everything was normal, and rather quickly, because it was, I think, in February 2020 that in the Netherlands, COVID was for the first time seen. And I think in 2 weeks' time, basically everything went in lockdown. And so we prepared a bit. The people went back home, work from home, and they do since then. And we adapted and we learned from it. And basically what we see today is that we have multiple offices throughout Europe and also in the United States. That actually the world is, it appears to be smaller because everybody's on the screen. You can invite someone, and we are now so used to work through screens that you can set up a team quickly and have a meeting. And so I think this time will bring, this crisis will bring new ideas on how we do our business and how we work together. At the same time, I do miss physical contact. I mean, having the people around you, being creative, have a chat at the coffee machine. I mean, having this interview with you in person, it's a different dynamic. But we've learned so much in this new era that I think it will bring good stuff in the next years. And looking at the business, well, what we've seen is that during 2020, maybe some projects were postponed due to investment decisions. But what we see today is that the industry is catching up. We had to, what was postponed had to be done by this moment. And also we see a lot of initiative on sustainability. So a lot of our requests have to do with a sustainable future. And I think our industry, so you ask for the next 12 to 24 months, but I think for the next decade, I think we are in a good business, because a lot of things have to change. So I'm very positive.
In overview, can you talk about the dredging market and the opportunities that you see?
Yeah, well, what we see is that if we look at dredging, we mainly look into trailing suction hopper dredges and cutter suction dredges, and these are the two main markets we serve. And what we see is that for the trailing suction hopper dredges, what we see worldwide is that there's a rather old fleet. So we feel that there is a need for renewal. I'm not sure if this market will grow a lot in cubic meters, but for sure there's a renewal, making more modern vessels which are more sustainable, work with alternative future fuels. These things will come, and I'm sure that authorities will put their rules and regulations on this ship type to adapt, and we are ready for that. And certainly next to the TSHDs, we are also involved with CSD projects, and these ships, barges, often tend to operate much more local. But there we are also working on an expansion of our design portfolio, mainly focusing on the bit mid-sized to larger CSDs and even the self-propelled ones. So if we speak about dredging market, this is a business which will be there forever, because there's always something to be dredged. And there's a fleet which is rather old. So I think there are, from our perspective, great opportunities.
So we understand that C-Job is ready to launch its latest innovation, an in-house design of a customizable trailing suction hopper dredge series. So before we get into the technical detail, though, can you discuss the gap that you saw in the market that made the project a go?
Yeah, what we see is that if you look on the spectrum of the options you have on one side you have tailor-made designs specific for the need of a single owner, and these vessels are very specific to the request of that owner. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have the standards, and you have shipyards providing those standards, and there is limited customization possible. So we want to be in the middle of that. So we want to, of course, we're able to provide a tailored design. We've done these things a lot in the past. We're not a shipyard, so we're not going to sell standard ships. But what we can do is to provide something in the middle. So what we want to do is to provide a platform, a series of hopper dredges, which are highly customizable. So we will shoot for a few cubic meter sizes and give the owner the option to adjust parameters. And the idea is that they can do that on the spot. And so we will provide a highly customizable standard series, which will, it's beneficial to the owner. He basically knows what he will get. He has the possibility to adapt, and we are then able to provide that design within limited time frame as well.
Okay, so when you look at the series, what will the range be, and is it available, or when will it be available on the market?
Yeah, well, we're fully involved with the development of that series as we speak. The range will be roughly from 1,500 cubic meter up to 30,000 cubic meter. And well, we are ready to launch the first one on a short notice, and we aim to have the full range ready during 2021.
Excellent. So we understand that there's been a particular focus on the modular options for this series. Can you discuss specifically which aspects are modular and why these options are important for your customers?
Yeah, well, it starts basically with modularity on the main dimensions of the vessel, starting with hopper dense or hopper volume. So mainly starting with hopper volume. Next to that, to adjust main dimensions. For example, you can imagine if we start with a hopper dredge which is 14,000 cubic meter, you could give the option to the owner to adjust to the figure needed, maybe 1,000 cubic meter upwards or 1,000 cubic meter downwards. Then we will give them the option to adjust, for example, the draft, because draft is important for these kind of vessels because they operate in shallow water. And these owners, they know their projects and they know how they want to customize our standard to their needs. So we can give an option to adjust the draft of the vessel. But of course, it will have an impact. It will alter the other dimensions of the vessel, and it will adjust, or it will have an influence on powering as well. So we're now working on the set of parameters which we can change. But you have to imagine that the parameters which are important to the owner, like dimensions, powering, configuration of the dredging installation. For example, do you want to have 1 or 2 drag arms? Do you want to have a submerged pump, depending on the dredging depth? These things will be adjustable and customizable. And that's then on the design of the vessel, but we're also looking into the future. So we also want to provide the option to implement future fuels or alternative ways of providing energy to the ship. So you can imagine that there is a kind of a toolbox where you have the option to select the future fuel for your vessel. Maybe we would give an advice for this type of vessel. You have to pick A, B, or C, but then you could choose yourself depending on the requirements of your project. So the modularity is basically in those parameters to give the owner the option to adjust to their specific needs.
apart from the modularity, when you look at this series holistically, what do you count as the top few technical highlights or differentiators?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that we are providing this modularity and that is so customizable. That is already there we differentiate from the market. We want to do it in a total new way, and that's to be presented later on. But there are other aspects in which we are going to differentiate. Is that one of the most important things of our company, Seajob, is that we are an independent company. So we are able to design the vessel to have it for a shipyard easy to build, and at the same time also take into account the requirements or the owner who is going to operate the vessel. So we also have to take into account that it is easy to maintain. So these we have a special role there. We are in the middle of this owner, shipyard, and equipment suppliers, and it's up to us to adjust to the needs of all the parties involved. And that's beneficial to all of us. So that's something in the design process, so to say. What's also addressed is that that the sustainability options are there. There's a lot of attention. So if we look into sustainability options, we're also looking into how we can improve the dredging operation itself, to have less turbidity, to make sure that we respect nature in a way. So also there we are able to implement innovations, also future innovations, things we are not even sure about today. We want to be able to implement in the platform later on. What's also different, what we're also going to apply here is that we are going to use accelerated concept design. So we're going to use computer power to optimize the design. So every time when we adjust something in the parameters of the vessel, we are going to use computer power with genetic algorithms to run through hundreds or even thousands of options to optimize the vessel for example, wave making resistance, steel weight. Now you can imagine what's important for a design. So this is also something which is running on the background. So that's behind the screen, working for you to make the best design possible.
Looking at your company, looking at this new series, how does the new TSHD series draw from other internal technologies and tools that you've developed at Seajob?
Yeah. Well, the great thing of having a platform like this, a design portfolio like this ourselves, it's a way that we can combine all the innovations we are working on in our company. This gives our possibility to showcase all those innovations into the design platform. So I already mentioned accelerated concept design as a tool to optimize the design, but we're also looking into data-driven analysis. We are researching future fuels like hydrogen-based renewables. We are looking in autonomous shipping. These are elements we are researching, and to create a platform, a design portfolio, as we now speak about, and we're now speaking about TSHDs, but there is more to come. These R&D elements are implemented into this design portfolio. So it brings R&D together with the design work, and it will give us the opportunity to showcase what we're capable of.